Hey everybody, I'm that girl Goddess, and I want to talk about the work ethic of this generation. I'm not just talking about the people who is 30 and under, but I want to talk about this generation because we got some older folks. I talk to these men have been with women that have been living in the projects and collecting their EBT cards and selling them for cash. He told me, and by the way, he's 38 years of age. He told me he has never had a job. He went between two women and he lived good. I said, well, what are you going to retire on when you get old? He said, well, a lot of people in the older generation, they never worked. They got disability. They got Social Security, even if it was low and was put on subsidized. He said, I can do that. By the time then, it ain't going to really matter. Okay, I was like, wow. But that ain't just it, because even when I was a supervisor, you deal with people coming in almost a half an hour late. You think 15 minutes is bad. They do it 3 and 4 times and say the bus didn't come. But you see, when they pull up to the job, they just got out of a car. And you keep them on because they come to work. They will come to work. Because half of these people, these young girls, whoo, honey, when I say one, they're going to come to work smelling like drugs or SX. You got to worry about the young people going somewhere hiding, sneaking to get some. Or that got a call from jail and they on the side went and snuck around to show their boobs and play with themselves. And you find it out on camera when your boss, you're the supervisor, call you and say, we're gonna have to let such and such go because this is what they did in between the different pallets. This is what we caught. I walked in the restroom and this is what I seen her doing. Or him. But besides them coming in late and smelling like drugs, they just say, oh no, I rode in the car with somebody. Baby, if you rode in the car with somebody, your breath when you stood up and told me that wouldn't have been smelling like it. Wouldn't be smelling like it with mouthwash on top. Them Listerine strips. Gum. You can still smell it because it smells hideous. Okay. Then you got people who come to work, look like they may wear the same outfit every day. They got different clothes now. And it's so dirty and it's so funky. And let me tell you, all these people I'm talking about, they be the ones with the lowest production. They always hiding. You look around, they on their cell phone. Okay, they got them iPods in their ear. And we have drivers driving around, on a high-low. They beep, 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 beep. They can't hear nothing. You calling their names, they don't hear nothing. Then you got the girls come, they so messy, they come to work just to pick up somebody, especially the alphabet crew. And give them a couple weeks, they arguing and fighting. We don't also go on to the people who come to work just to go somewhere and hide and go to sleep. The people who come in smelling like a gallon of liquor. The ones, they don't read that well. So they always got an excuse. You can verbally tell them what to do and they still. Their excuse is, well, I'm sorry, I didn't read it no well. I got a problem reading. And you be like, I just told you what to do. Oh, that's what you want me to do? Then you try to say, yes, could you go back and where you was and do what I asked you to do? Oh, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. That's the next work ethic. And they're ready to argue. and you got to walk them out the door. You got the others, oh, they don't want to work past 20 hours because they want to get their public assistance. And that's a lot of ages. So we got a lot of older women on Section 8 and in order to keep their bills real low. And they'll tell you, and I ain't got to put up with this. I can just go pick up some guy at the bar and, 2 or 3 times a week. My rent ain't nothing. $40 something. They'll throw me that and then throw me something. And then, I got my EBT card. And if it's late, I can call up a couple guys and give them some. And I have me about $200 of about 3 or 4 guys. And you just looking, what? What is going on? And then they try and say, well, I need a raise. Ain't nobody live off this little stuff, but they don't want to work no way because they want the EBT card and them EBT money, cash benefits. And I just stand there and I be like, so why is everybody else coming to work? Well, one, I'm going to go to work because I do not want to live that impoverished. Okay. I want to have nice things in my house. I like nice clothes. I do not want an EBT card that I got to bust out in the street to go get me something that I shouldn't have because I can't afford. I don't want a house full of children with a whole bunch of different baby daddies. I don't want to live in the area where, and we talking about project units and everybody's fighting and acting a fool. Okay? I don't want that. Pookie and Ray Ray got 100 kids in the projects. All the women know they just want that check. And then they try to say, you don't come around. I ain't going to deal with your disrespect. And then they'll come over, sure. Well, I'm going to cook something in there. You can come in here and eat. You need to tighten me up. And I always tell women, y'all always talking about you ain't caring about nobody on EBT. But let me tell you something. I know more women on public assistance that's sleeping with married men and women. A lot of these single guys out here in the street and can't hold a relationship that don't have no job, they're going from female to female, picking up a little money. Babies everywhere. No sense of morals. No work ethic. They can live with grandma, mama, sister, cousin, auntie. They don't have to pay bills. So if your rent is more than that, $11, $50 a month, $110 a month, they don't want you. And they be like, okay, I go get some plasma money, which, by the way, they need to raise the amount of money that they give you for selling your plasma, because it's way too low nowadays. It's ridiculous. Inflation went up and they're not giving half the money that they used to give from years. That's not cool. That's not right. But we talking about we want to make America great. But half these people, they'll work 2 weeks and they won't come in 2 or 3 days. And then they get a small check. They'll come in right before the rent and light and gas due. And the phone bill, and they'll come in for 3 days and swim down they sick, their babysitter didn't come, all kind of stuff. And they turn in their paycheck stubs of not having that many hours, but they don't come in, but they planning to quit anyway because they don't want to lose their benefits. It's just like mothers who, and I always tell myself, yeah, they keep having babies because you keep adding on to their money. $3,000-$4,000 on the EBT card, but you want to give a senior citizen $23. The devil is a lie. I'm praying God make a change on that. We need to do better. These senior citizens need to eat better. Then you wonder why they're so unhealthy. Half of them starving. Why they got so thin? Half of them starving. I'm just saying. We have to do better. And then you go to other countries, and I know because I am foreign. They ain't living half as impoverished as Americans are. They have an ethic. Okay, children are not disrespecting and cussing out their teachers. And the government say don't discipline them, don't spank them. You go overseas, them kids being spanked. They dare not to talk to no teacher a certain way or parent. The children, like I said, they grew up to be people that have no discipline, no self-control. They say in and everything. Half their parents be drunk and high anyway. The kids out in the house playing, they go in the bedroom and be intimate. Act like little kids ain't even sitting there and tell them they better not say nothing. While the other sibling is punching them, bite them. They come out, oh, you bit my baby. But they in there doing their thing. And then want to say they good parents. I love my baby. Well, why don't you go hold down a job? You rather risk losing your EBT food stamps because you don't want to work 20 hours. They should demand 30 hours at least and 10 hours of volunteer work. Let them go out there and volunteer. Because, see, I tell them to do 30 hours at the work site. And it's mandatory if they want EBT. If they got a bunch of babies, they can throw them legs up in the air. Then they can go throw them legs up in the field and pick up the trash in it. Have them meet in a certain area, not too far from their home, and let a bus pick them up and take them to an area so they can clean up. At least 30 to 40 hours a week. And you say, what? Outside of working 30 hours. Because then they'll know what the working people are going through. I put my taxes in the system and I don't qualify for nothing. If I put my money in the system when I need, they should be able to draw me something out. It's like my insurance. Okay. I don't see to me, that's like putting money in a bag of holes and they say you got to pay these taxes. Well, I have to have earned income to pay my taxes. They get my tax dollars, my earned money, and they get in a year more money than I get. Don't be a single person because they eat you up in taxes. How is that fair? And you got to pay the same cost for food and different services like someone making a 6-digit figure. It doesn't go down. You paying the same price for a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk like they are. But then the people on EBT card, I can get this. You stupid to go to work because we get this sitting at home. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to go out there and work. You stupid. That's what they tell the working people. They laugh at us. But then the government feel we should take our tax dollars to take care of them. The devil is a lie. And I'm going to keep praying and I'm going to keep speaking on it. Get up and get a job. You shouldn't have no more babies than you can afford on your own. But then when you ask about the daddies, even though half of them don't know who their baby daddies are for real, they mad now because they supposed to have a DNA test when the baby's born. That's right. You need to because y'all was just a bunch of liars. That's why Lauren Lake paternity court went so long. Because half of them didn't know who the baby daddy was. And when you hear the circumstances, you be like, what? They was at the bar on the dance floor and they got it on? Yeah, they do that. They go to work for lunch, sit in the parking lot. This was a big parking lot. Be in the alley. They talk about the working people and the people at church. These girls walking around with bubble skirts on, you see half their cheeks. I can see even if they on baddies. Okay, that's televised, that's something different. But we're talking about walking up and down the street. What is wrong with these females? You proud to be indecent, and then you want to talk about older women getting the men. Okay, a lot of older women can't get the men because they ain't in the best of health and they done lost interest. Okay, then you mad, but they don't want you because you don't cook, you don't clean, you don't work. You got a bunch of BBLs that smell. You talk to you, hold a conversation. You think you in an insane asylum. I've been talking to a lot of these females and I be like, oh my Lord, God, please deliver me from insanity. Because the stuff they say is so foolish. That's the best word for it. Foolish. And I know a lot of them don't want to watch me and watch my YouTube page because I'm going to tell it just like a TI is. They don't want to hear truth. They don't want to hear reality. They want to sit up and say, oh, yeah, older women should be ashamed of themselves because they put on a mini skirt, but they have a Coca-Cola body. They have a small waist, nice firm body, natural. They boobs ain't sagging. They work out. They look good in their clothes. They're older than you. As a mother, you don't tell your elder what to do. And then you be like, oh, no, these men be running down and you be walking down, so you be like, no, I don't want to deal with no young guy. I don't want to deal with no boy. And they be like, and then you be like, look, I'm old enough to be your mama. You say something like that, even if you slightly ain't. But you'll say it. And you know what they'll tell you? But if you look like that, you carry yourself like that, you ain't my mama, so me and you can be. And then you have a fatal attraction. And these young girls, you did this. What you mean I did this? I ain't do that. Ain't no other older woman doing that. I remember being a kid and my adopted mama, she was fat and she wasn't the best looking, but guess what? Some of the guys she was kicking it with, and I'm ashamed to say they was 17, 18, 19, good looking, and she wasn't giving them no money. I done seen plenty of them sit there and brought bank. Because most of them young guys are taking care of those older women. Don't be fooled. And tell you, I'm a man. This was one guy told me, I'm the king of my castle. And I'm a man. Money is man-made. And if I don't make no money, I ain't no man. And I'm a man. That's what he told me. And he said, you ain't got to worry about nothing. He kept saying, I need you to quit your job. I said, no, baby, 2 incomes is better than 1. Well, you just stack up yours because I'm finna handle this. You women be begging me. And I tell you, you ain't got to beg no man to do that because when you love a man the right way, he'll beg to do it because he don't want nobody in his place. A lot of men will beg to be with a good woman because I'm going to tell you, ain't nothing good out there. And they be like, I'd rather have a good thing than this stuff I'm dealing with. I got to get up and have no peace. Got to argue with them. Them getting burnt. They stealing my money when I go to sleep from my wallet. You know, a lot of men is like, I'm too old. I got children. My children becoming a teenager. I got to show them how to be a man. I don't want to be dead, old, alone. They'll tell you that. And so why a lot of people sitting around always want to, their main videos is to tear down an older woman. Why are you tearing down an older woman? You better hope and pray you become an older woman. But that woman who marriage held down, they got somebody, they marriage 68 years. I think it's Jackie McCullen, mother and father. 68 years of marriage. That's amazing. I would have loved that. But I've been married most of my life. But I tell people, and when I'm not, oh no, my bedroom gonna stay dry. Okay? You ain't no test car here. No. Men back in the day, they would hurry up and marry you because they wanted it. But then y'all start giving away the milk. Giving away the milk from the cow. They don't even want to buy the cow because they got the milk. So now they looking at you, you want me to do this? I'm going to get this. I ain't dedicated to you. They're going to make sure they call you out cheating. Well, know why? Because they don't want to invest in you. But then they realizing they getting old. They body breaking down. They need someone to care for them. And they want to get married. Some men, oh no, it's the point. I just want my children to be by my wife. I don't want to have children out in the street. Yeah, some men, they got morals. No, my mama told me don't have my babies out in the street. They'll get married. And they may not be the best husband, but they will pay some bills and they and you be like, this is the young girl. He don't love her. He be with me, but her bills paid. And you on public assistance. I'm just gonna say that because, you know, a lot of y'all get up here to just tear a female down. And I look at another female. Why are you tearing down a female? I'm not tearing down no female on here. I'm just telling the reality, the truth. And the truth hurt. I had a young girl laugh at me, man, you crazy. You know, went to college and stuff, and look, you ain't making big bucks. I said, yeah, you right. I ain't making big bucks like that like I should. Yes, I sit there, I raised my children, I stayed with that man through the good, through the bad, through the ugly, to the pretty. But guess what? That was my choice. I want to live an honorable life. And when they sit there and say, we may not have no money to retire on, all I'm going to say is, it's going to be an ugly day because everybody get ready to retire. It's going to be an ugly day because people coming after their money. Ain't nobody volunteered to take care of none of these bums. And that's all they are. Our money was taken, tax was taken from us to secure us when we get old. It's inhumane to ask somebody to go to work at 70 years old. If you're able-bodied at that age and can get a job or within the same company, then yes. But a lot of companies will terminate you when they think you're getting ready to retire because they don't want to pay out their retirement. They're not trying to give you no benefits. Most of these jobs don't offer no benefits. Where's the reward for the person who did what's right? I'm just asking these questions. And then a lot of them, you said don't discipline them. They have no respect. If they didn't respect their parents, they ain't going to respect you. They ain't going to respect the government. They ain't going to respect the laws. They got to go through hell and hit rock bottom like a dope fiend before they realize they need a roof. Their kids need stuff. But if you start taking child support out of their check, because they be like, they took my kids. Deep down, they don't want to raise them anyway because them kids be bad as hell. I said it. No discipline. And they be so happy not to have the kids. That's just like having a babysitter, dropping the kids off to their mama house. But when the mama starts saying, I didn't give birth to these children, it's my time in life, bye. And let the state get them. And then when the state go after you for that child support, I guarantee you they try to find the guidelines to work and function because the government get in, they ain't taking a little child support. It ain't going to be $5 a week. When them daddies get those kids. And a lot of the reason these daddies ain't there because they don't have no voice in their child life. When you get a female judge and she try to act like that woman can't do no wrong. And that woman lying about everything, abusive, arguing. He come bring school clothes. They go sell them. It's hard to work with someone who's not workable. They not just lousy on the job site. And I ain't just talking about female. I say some of them men too. They don't want to come to work. They got habits. Their parents had habits set on the system 20 years. You neglected the thing too has then grown from being a slight cold or infection to full-blown AIDS with Ebola on top of it. And COVID. You know, you got to nip stuff in the bud. And then people start talking about they against the President Trump. I thank God for President Trump because they finally dealing with some of these people bringing all this fentanyl into this world, into the United States, and other drugs. I'm tired of dope things. I'm tired of irresponsible people. You can't even rent to them because they ain't going to pay your rent. They're going to drag you into court for months. And the judge is trying to keep them off the street at your expense, the landlord. Then when you finally get your house, they done tow it up. They pour cement down your pipes. Put holes in the ceiling. Graffiti your walls. Break the shower. You had a little glass door on your bathtub and shower. They done broke that off. Bent up the track that it's supposed to be on. Oh no, I know what I'm talking about because I done went through this system over and over and over again. They have dogs in the house. house and got infested with feces that they barely clean. And not only is they doing that, and the dog is just urinating everywhere, and you can't get the smell out of the house, you got to put down another floor because the floor done rotted out too for being wet so long. Mold started growing. You can get hepatitis going into the room just to clean your property. And you got to replace everything. They got to fight and bust holes in your walls. You're doing that. Your bedroom doors, they done tow them down. I'm just saying what's really going on. These people, they ain't never had to, parents couldn't tell them to go clean their room, and they know how to take responsibility of things, and their parents can tell them no, and so they can be good, pick up your duties so they can learn how to be responsible and know they're not going to get nothing good unless they be good, and there's a reward from being good. They have high self-esteem, a good morale, good ethics. But when you said don't discipline them, and yeah, you hear them parents talking about, oh, there ain't nobody gonna touch my child at school. Well, homeschool them and make sure they make the grade. Because if they can't, government, go get the child, make them pay child support, make them pay for the child education, and it must be mandatory. It's a shame that we got most of these children up here, over 75% can't read. And then they tell me I'm gonna take cursive out, but you gotta have a signature. And people smiling and bragging. Because a lot of them, they just say they slow. Teacher don't want about them. They just give them an EIP test, say they slow, and let the mama and them get a disability check because they tired of them. Teachers quitting left and right. They went to school all them years for a career, and your children are so horrific they running. But they proud of that. Because now you can say they child slow and they can get a check. Everything is about them getting something. You rewarding what's evil. And the Bible says to reward evil with good. Evil won't depart from your house. They done tore up these houses so bad, got high, fell asleep, house burnt down, people looking for them, threw cocktails. You go through the hood, it looks horrific. And then you're going to have Afro-Americans getting out something, or they always trying to tear us down. But it's your community that looks bad. Every other culture neighborhood looks good. Except for, I'm going to say those, I don't know if they Mexicans or Hispanics, but sometimes they live in the shabbiest neighborhoods. And it's 100 of them in one house, but they will work. I give you that. They may not get paid all that sometimes, but they will work. And they have a good work ethic. They come in no matter what. Most foreigners are coming no matter what and fighting for their own business. There's just certain group that just, and don't use a thing, oh, there's more Caucasians on the system than African American or blacks. Yeah, because there's more Caucasians, but if you do the ratio number, it's more African Americans than it is any other culture. And if it wasn't, you should want to have a future, secure you some, because I get mad. Don't give them, I don't care, because they done spent 50 years on the system. They don't get them to retire. If you stop doing it, they'll start thinking better and be like, well, no, I got to make sure I have a roof. And they'll do the bare minimum. A lot of jobs, I just tell people, it's not even worth going to, and they want to give you $8 an hour and you have no benefits. And they taking out bukus and you single. But I'm going to keep saying it. America, we have to change. It's ridiculous now. It's ridiculous. After 3 children, I don't believe they should get no more dollars for it. Or having another child, a 4th child. I think they should be made to live within their means and stay in the project and their little raggedy communities, and they go out and work. Everybody can't handle everything on a silver platter. Part of the reason to get along with that man is because you need him in the house, because sometimes he needs to babysit those kids. He needs to be there if somebody get ready to attack you and those kids. And he's there as a man to keep it from happening. His children need to know him. Because no matter what you say, you can keep that daddy away. But when them children get grown, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be mad because they can't see their daddy. Them children want to see them daddies. But I'm that girl Goddess, and I'm talking about Americans' poor work ethics in this video and poor situations. There needs to be a change. Bye. Like, share, and subscribe.